William Ruto, ministers present, representatives for various nations, esteemed participants of the Africa Energy Forum, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's still morning. Let me take this opportunity to welcome you all to Nairobi, Kenya. Let me also welcome you to our premium annual program where governments and states utilities meet annually to address the international energy community and opportunities available in Africa, power and gas sectors. The Africa Energy Forum, Your Excellency, brings together senior government officials and private sector executives to discuss opportunities in expanding public and private energy sector. I extend my gratitude to the organizers for choosing to hold this forum in Nairobi, Kenya, allowing us to showcase the journey of the energy space in Africa. This forum is one of the most meaningful gathering of decision makers in Africa energy sector and brings together governments, utilities, regulators, development, finance institutions, commercial banks, power developers, technology providers, EPC contractors and professional service. Your Excellency, over the next 3 days, we'll seriously engage and look at several topics, including insights from ministers and heads of utilities on energy mining from the continent. And like Simon said, we have over 23, 24 ministers in the House today from the continent. We'll also look at increasing pace and scale, how to increase the pace and scale of Africa renewable energy projects, the growing role of Africa gas within the geopolitical context, breaking down barriers to energy transition in mining. We look at capital flows and risk mitigation in today's market. We'll also be looking at financing an African energy transition in the challenge of today's climate change, and Africa path to becoming global green hydrogen powerhouse, building regional power markets, electricity trade between countries, and many other topics, Your Excellency. On the area of connectivity in Africa, we need to improve power generation and connectivity to our people. With 600 million people, some of the highlights, Your Excellency, in our continent not having access to electricity and an average of 180 kilowatt hour per capita use of electricity in our continent, we have a lot of work to do. On the energy mix, Africa has great potential in geothermal, solar, wind, and hydro generation. In the field of geothermal exploration, Your Excellency, Kenya stands. We have tapped into the vast geothermal potential of the Great Rift Valley. I invite the guests here today, and I'll be spending the next 3 days to ensure that some of us do get a chance to visit our Olkaria magical energy trail to see what you've done in geothermal. It's only 70 kilometers out of Nairobi here. On wind power, our commitment to wind power generation has borne fruit. One shining example, of course, is the Lake Turkana wind project located in northern part of Kenya, one of the largest wind power plants in Africa and in the world today. Africa in hydro generation has vast hydro generation potential from the Congo River Basin, the third largest river in the world, to the Nile Basin and what the Ethiopia, our neighbors, are doing. In Kenya, we have developed our hydro plants in renowned Seven Forks Hydro Complex, including Masinga, Kamburu, Kiambere, in the Tana River, which contributes 700 megawatts of our energy supply. In addition to these large-scale projects, we need to recognize the potential of small hydro systems. Small hydro system, ladies and gentlemen, plants such as the 2 megawatts, Your Excellency, Kogo plant in Migori County, plays a vital role in electrifying rural and remote areas where grid connectivity may be and remains a challenge. On solar PV, we have vast potential of solar energy in Africa. Solar also witnessed tremendous growth with photovoltaic improved technology today and the cost of solar PV coming down, coupled with the battery storage that will be the next really blue sky for us to conquer. Through innovative approaches such as solar mini-grids and off-grid solar, Africa can extend electricity access to remote areas and marginalized communities. The Garissa solar plant, located in northeast part of the Kenya region, is one of our largest solar plants today with a total of 54 megawatts. It has the capability of powering approximately 625,000 households, bringing clean, affordable electricity to our people. On transmission, ladies and gentlemen, to enhance connectivity and efficiency in Africa's energy sector, we have to expand our transmission and distribution infrastructure, build cross-border infrastructure, regional power grids, and interconnections to facilitate energy trade and foster integration and economic growth. By embracing hydroelectric power, geothermal energy, wind power, solar energy, and gradually reducing our reliance on thermal, we will create the diverse and resilient energy sector in our continent. Africa has tremendous potential in renewable energy. Our beautiful continent possesses abundant natural resources that can be harnessed to generate clean and sustainable electricity for the benefit of all. And in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, through our diverse energy mix, we will achieve remarkable progress in meeting our energy needs while reducing our carbon footprint and contribute to global efforts in combating climate change and creating a greener planet. We invite international partners to join us in this journey as we continue to shape a brighter and more sustainable energy future. As we gather here at the Africa Energy Forum 2023, we will learn from one another, share our experiences, and collaborate to create a brighter, more sustainable energy future for Africa. The Africa Energy Forum is a great avenue for us to showcase our achievements and highlight the tremendous potential that exists within our borders. Together we can harness the power of innovation, technology, and partnership to address our energy challenges and unlock the vast potential that lies within our continent. We must work hand in hand to develop innovative financing mechanisms, create favorable policy frameworks, and promote technology transfer and capacity building. Only through collaboration we can unlock full potential of renewable energy and build a future that leaves no one behind. I wish to extend my heartfelt gratitude to all the participants, organizers, and partners who have contributed to making this event a reality. Let us seize this unique opportunity to chart a new course for the energy sector in Africa. And in concluding, Your Excellency, let me say, in the just concluded International Energy Agency, which was held a fortnight ago, Kenya was nominated to host the next year's conference on renewable energy. Energy conservation has been identified as one of the key climate change adaptation strategies with respect to migrating from thermal to renewable energy. Your Excellency, I'm sure you'll also be making a note and inviting this summit with respect to the fact that Africa heads of state and governments on climate change will be co-hosted by Kenya and the Africa Union in September, alongside this year's Africa Climate Week in September between 4th and 6th. Our President is certainly going to make an invitation to this wonderful audience, and I hope all of you will come back to Nairobi in September. Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you, our guests. Welcome to Nairobi. Welcome to Kenya. We now be upstanding and put our hands together to welcome His Excellency, the President, Dr. William Ruto, to make his remarks.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Please, let's take our seats. Thank you very much. To all our guests from within our continent who are present here, senior government officials from different parts of the world, captains of industry, people in the energy space, good morning and welcome to Nairobi. Before I make my brief statement let me volunteer some information to you. I have been asked by the Minister for Tourism and Heritage to tell you that while you are in Kenya, you might have a small problem. You may feel too much at home, and going back to where you came from may be a challenge. And she asked me to explain the reason why. Kenya scientists, and I am one of them, that the very earliest remains of man were found in Loyangalani in Kenya, meaning this is where humanity began. So from wherever you have come from, welcome home, all of you. I know you paid for your visa. You had to look for a visa to come to Kenya. If the people of Kenya finally agree with me, the next time you come to Kenya, you may not need a visa, because I think it is unfair to ask anybody for a visa when they are going home. I have also been sent by the governor of Nairobi. He's my friend, and he has told me to ask you to enjoy Nairobi, to give you a bit of geography. On one end is a canopy of very good forest, and you have a national park with wildlife. He's also asked me to tell you that sometimes the lions and cheetahs break from the fence at the national park. So when you find a lion by the road, so be careful, because it is not tamed, it is wild. Regardless of whether we like it or whether we acknowledge it or not, humanity today must confront not just a defining moment in the history of our existence, but also the fact that the unprecedented existential crisis of climate change has a lot to do with our relationship with energy. Energy makes human life safer, human activity more efficient, and society better. The different ways in which societies access and utilize energy describes the contours of human productivity and inequality, and also define our contribution to the worsening climate crisis. For these reasons, the world now has clarity on the right, as well as the wrong, way of sourcing energy. The question of whether we need energy at all shall never arise, because that is the mandatory fact of life. The matter of how we cater for our energy needs must therefore escalate us to the highest priority of humanity's urgent existential concerns, and must continue to occupy our thinking. In the discourse about energy and climate, it is impossible to be neutral or disinterested. We can be part of the problem and at the same time contribute to its solution in various ways. For instance, Africa, with only 16.7% of the world population, has historically been the world's smallest contributor to the problem, cumulatively less than 2.9% of greenhouse gas emissions. At the same time, Africa bears the disproportionate burden of adverse impacts of climate change, including weather phenomena whose devastating consequences range from drought and starvation on one end to floods, landslides, and waterborne disease, as well as massive destruction of property, infrastructure, and livelihoods on a scale that is unprecedented. Moreover, Africa is home of the world's greatest concentration of people without access to efficient and ecologically sustainable energy, with 600 million people having no electricity at all and 900 million people without clean cooking energy. Further, Africa as a continent is heavily endowed with clean, green, and renewable energy resources, as well as the essential minerals required by the global energy transition that humanity must undertake to avert a climate catastrophe. For the reasons set out above, it is both the appropriate and the iconic that Africa has remained a leading actor and voice in climate action efforts. There is no doubt that for 4 decades now, Africa has been robustly and consistently involved in national, regional, continental, and global discourses aimed at finding effective solutions to the climate change problem. This commitment has highlighted Africa's unique place in the global energy and climate mix, and at the same time positioned it as the clean, green continent of the future. The 25th edition of the Africa Energy Forum, therefore, reminds us about the history, progress, achievements, figure, and consistency of Africa's commitment to developing a viable pathway towards energy access and effective climate action. For 3 decades, a broad spectrum of African agencies has assembled annually to pursue dedicated dialogue on our unique energy imperative. For 25 years, African governments, energy sector utilities and regulators, development finance institutions, innovators and technology providers have sustained a commitment to collaborate and take action to move Africa in the direction of its Paris Agreement goals. Kenya's experience of energy sector potential, policies, investment opportunities exemplify the huge possibilities within the African energy and climate action complex. Allow me to. Decades ago, Kenya boldly invested in the development of its renewable energy potential at a time when it was not fashionable to do so. The decision has paid off. Renewable sources form 73% of our installed electricity generation capacity, accounting for over 90% of electricity generated and distributed in Kenya. Additionally, through appropriate incentives and a conducive investment climate, Kenya has mobilized necessary investments to install the biggest wind power plant in our part of the world, the Lake Turkana Wind Power Project. I heard ministers say it is among the largest in our continent. It is the largest in our continent. At the same time, we are steadily exploiting and deploying available geothermal potential, currently estimated at 10,000 megawatts. What Kenya has learned from these developments is that it is possible to achieve ambitious development goals while maintaining clean, green energy commitment. I think there is a proposal, or there is a perception that development and green energy is in conflict or cannot be on the same trajectory. If you had any doubt as to whether it is possible to pursue meaningful development with green energy, you need not look further. Kenya is a good example. Energy is one of the fundamental enablers for the transformation agenda and our infrastructure component of our bottom-up economic transformation agenda. Partnerships and collaborations in the energy sector are premised on the fact that Kenya is endowed with substantial renewable energy resources which constitute a highly attractive investment profile. The opportunities include, and I'm saying this because I know in this room we have men and women who are looking for opportunity to invest in our country and in our continent. One, proven wind energy potential of 30,000 megawatts with 346 per square and speeds of over 6 meters per second. A wind resource atlas is available to show high-value wind power prospects. And I said that atlas be made available and transport also be made available so that you can go and see sites. The Lake Turkana Wind Power Project, with a capacity of 310 megawatts, is the largest in our continent. And just the same way Davis has said he will arrange to take you to Olkaria, I suggest that he also puts together a plane to take people to this great project. Average annual solar insolation estimates at 4 to 6 kilowatt hours per square meter per day exist for both off-grid and on-grid options. A Kenya off-grid solar access project is under implementation but covering 14 underserved counties. There is potential to expand the coverage to other needy counties, and we welcome investments and partners to work with us, either as investors on a public-private partnership framework or indeed any other frameworks that can be negotiated. Number three, tremendous geothermal energy potential currently estimated at 10,000 megawatts, out of which less than 10% has been exploited. Kenya is already the largest global producer of geothermal power. 6,000 megawatts of both large and small hydroelectricity potential is also on the offer. 300 megawatts potential for cogeneration in the sugarcane factories in Western Kenya is also available. 20 to 131 megawatts of biogas potential using various feedstocks. A 2 megawatt biogas is already operational in Naivasha and is using flower waste from the flowers we are exporting globally. As already mentioned, renewable energy in Kenya currently accounts for 73% of installed power generation capacity. In terms of utilization, renewable energy accounts for 90% of the power generation dispatch. We are on course towards achieving our target of 100% clean energy in 8 years. Additionally, we have set a target to achieve 100% access to clean cooking by 2028. In fact, in our budget this year, we have done two things so that we can set ourselves on the trajectory to clean cooking. Number one, we are reducing taxes, the 8% VAT on gas, cooking gas. Number two, we are also extending, on the other hand, facilities that will make it possible to reduce our cylinders from about 2,000 shillings to between 300 and 500 shillings. Again, push the trajectory in cooking. With an installed electricity generation capacity of 3,002 megawatts, Kenya has made significant achievements in electricity access over the past 7 years. It raised connectivity from below 30% in 2013 to over 77% at the moment. This success was driven by a robust policy and regulatory framework that enabled both public and private investments in the power sector to profitably invest in access throughout the country. This is how Kenya became a global leader in renewable energy exploitation and is on track to meet or exceed its Paris Agreement pledge, leading the way for more equally or even better endowed African countries to invest in renewable energy production. I am saying on this because I know we have ministers from our continent in our midst, and welcome, honorable ministers. I am saying this so that nobody should have any doubt that it is possible for us to avoid burning our planet with fossil fuels. It is possible for us to exploit our renewable energy potential that is abundant in our continent, drive our development programs, develop our energy potential without necessarily putting our lives in danger as we are witnessing with climate change. Access to clean cooking is an important national policy priority and a fundamental component of our agenda. A bioenergy strategy has been formulated to guide the process towards universal access to modern cooking energy. In 2021, our energy compact on clean cooking was prepared and submitted at the high-level dialogue on energy, expressing Kenya's commitment to accelerate access to clean cooking. As part of implementing the compact, Kenya is launching an energy transition program where all public institutions shall shift away from biomass cooking gas to cleaner and sustainable options. At the same time, Kenya advocates the establishment of the International Day for Clean Cooking as a way of sustaining the momentum towards universal health to clean cooking. As many delegates can confirm, and the rest will shortly do, Kenya is deeply committed to the agenda of the Africa Energy Forum. We affirm this forum's confidence that with the right policies, investments, technologies, and innovations, our economies can facilitate unprecedented transformation in competitive, while at the same time making decisive progress in climate action. In other words, Kenya would like very much to be cited as an example that bold socio-economic transformation and climate action are not mutually exclusive and indeed can be pursued most successfully together. I also want to state that Africa will remain an indispensable player in global transition to climate action, new industrialization, and green energy for a while, and for this reason will highly reward investors who are making their moves now or very shortly. The opportunities, I want to confirm, are vast. Sustainable energy development lies at the heart together. This is not time for finger pointing. This is not time for blame game. This is the time for us to work together towards a solution to save our planet, to ensure that we deploy all the resources we have. First time, those of us from the African continent are not going to complain. We're not going to lament to anybody. We want to have a conversation of equals. We want to have a conversation of the assets that we have. We have huge renewable energy assets. We have huge mineral assets that can be used to deploy hydrogen technology to sort out the power challenge that we have. The North can come with technology and financial resources, and we can have an outcome where everybody becomes a winner. This is the conversation we want to have. It's not a conversation about aid. It's not a conversation about loan. It's not about debts. It's a conversation about investment, where everybody comes with their assets. That is the conversation we want to have. We should be discussing a financial ecosystem, a new international financial mechanism that is going to have no lesser or greater partners, that is going to be a win-win, where everybody is treated equally. For those of you who are in the development finance sector, you know very well that today some countries access development finance at 10–12%. Others access development finance at 1%, maybe 0.5%. We are saying we should have an international financial system that treats everybody equally and that does not disadvantage others because of an element called risk. We must find a way of de-risking everybody and making development finance available to all of us equally. To ask for a fair international financial system is not to ask for too much. I think it's the fair thing to do. What we do not want is an unfair system, and any perpetuation of an unfair system is unfair to everybody. And the good news is, for the first time, climate change, there is no developing or developed country. We are all in the same boat. However hard you try, you cannot have unilateral action at the corner. If this place is burning, you cannot have an air condition at your corner. It will not work. You will have to find a way of sorting out everybody if you have to sort yourself out. So I think the sooner we realize that, the better for all of us, and we can all come around one table and have one conversation that gives win-win for everybody. This is why Kenya is honored to host the 25th Africa Energy Forum, and why I am delighted to have this opportunity to engage with you. I welcome all visitors, wish you all a pleasant stay in the green city in the sun, and enjoy to make a little time to experience the warmth, luxury, beauty, delight, and charms of magical Kenya. And as Minister Davis said, I welcome all of you to the conversation of a lifetime between the 4th and the 6th of September, when, as leaders from this continent, we will be sitting down to consolidate our position so that we can contribute to solving the climate change paradox. We are putting our thoughts together. I am hopeful that in Paris we will be able to configure and agree on a new financial deal which we will consolidate and organize in September. We can globalize in the UN General Assembly later this year, and we can finally sign off and conclude in COP28. I am very hopeful that we are in the space to finally sort out what we started almost 20 years ago at the first Paris Agreement. A lot of tension has built over time. Today, we need to go back to the principles that brought us together when we sat in Paris many years ago, and we need to finally bring this to a conclusion. We've been at it for far too long. And I'm saying for far too long because 20 years is a long time. And we have seen that it is possible to make long-lasting, fundamental decisions without spending 20 years. Let me give you an example. The current World Bank and IMF were in a small city called Bretton Woods in a record couple of weeks. Today, it is 80 years old. It was agreed upon by 44 countries, I think, with about 700 delegates. When Germany was faced with a challenge, it took them one session to change their constitution and raise $110 billion for their defense. After the Cold War, Europe came together and established the Reconstruction Bank that today is European Investment Bank. Within 6 months, it was ready, and within 18 months, it was doing the business for which it was set up. We have plenty of time between now and COP28 to agree on a new financing mechanism that is climate sensitive. It's been done in weeks. It's been done in months. This one has taken years, 15 years. Don't you think, good people, it's time to bring it to a conclusion? I sincerely think it's time to bring it to an end. And COP28 it is, according to me. Finally, I look forward to engaging further with insights from the outcome of your engagements and wish you very productive deliberations and outcomes in your time here. The Africa Energy Forum is now opened. Thank you very much.